What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Dr. Drew. Really, not really a doctor. I'm a massage therapist, but I love helping people. And I love talking about this stuff, about nature. And so today we're going to talk about what men and women can't accept and can't figure out. Everybody's complaining about dating and everybody's complaining about relationships. And what men and women fail to realize is that feminism is wrong and feminism's right and Christianity's wrong and Christianity's right. And well, what do I mean by that? Well, feminism is right in the fact that women should be able to be autonomous. They should be able to make choices and do whatever they need to in their lives. And I'm cool with that. Always have been. I don't consider myself a feminist, absolutely not. But I believe that women, should be adults and go make their own money and buy their own houses and support themselves. And even when they're in relationships, I don't think that any man should take care of a grown woman or a grown adult, period. If a woman is an adult, she should be making her own money and paying for her own way too. She should be chipping in half and half. It should be half and half, always. Absolutely. And she needs to pay for herself. It's not my obligation to pay for my wife's car insurance or my girlfriend's car insurance. That's her obligation. She drives, right? That's her job then. So she needs to pay for her own car insurance, right? And that's just one example. Car insurance, cell phone, you got bills? Well, then your bills are your responsibility. Ladies, it ain't my responsibility to pay your bills for you. It's my job to pay my bills for me. Now, if you have my child, and we're just hypothetically talking, if you don't, but if you did, then I would gladly pay for my child and pay, to have you take care of my child. Sure, up until you're ready to go back to work. Then you got to pay for stuff again. See what I'm saying? You're an adult, right? You're not a child. So why am I taking care of you? All right. See, anyways. So yes, feminism, you're right in the fact that women, you should be able to go make money and go do your own thing. Cool. I'm all for it. Awesome. But feminism is wrong in the fact that it turned women against men. You see, life is all about balance, right? And everything in life is a balance. And one extreme or the other isn't good, right? No, it's not. There's balance to life, right? So as far as feminism goes, it's, oh yeah, we can have autonomy and be our own people and screw men. We don't need men. Yeah, that's like way over here. That's way to the extreme, right? You're not balanced at all. What's the opposite of feminism? Well, it's Christianity, right? Well, again, that's and traditional. Again, that's wrong too, because you see, it's it's unnatural, and I tell you how. So Christianity, and look, I don't mean to be anti-religion or well, yeah, I do, because I know it's wrong. It has some answers, don't get me wrong. Religion has some awesome answers to life. I'm not saying it doesn't, but it doesn't have all the answers, right? And you've heard on my channel, if you've watched any of my videos, you might have heard me talk that the Bible's missing some key pieces of information in it. And if it was the end-all be-all to life, why are those key pieces of information missing? For instance, where is the chapters of verse where it explains to men in detail how to attract women and make them fall in love with us and stay there? That's a pretty dang important piece of information for a man's life, right? Why is it missing from the Bible? Think, guys. Come on, think. Use your head. I'm just saying. It is my belief that Christianity was the very first version of influencing. It was the very first version of psyops. It was the very first version of mind control and brainwashing and getting people to go against themselves and their nature. And I'll explain how. See, Christianity, the Christians believe that you shouldn't act on your feelings. And, I agree with that for the most part. We should question our feelings, absolutely. But some things, are just natural for us as humans. And human beings, naturally, we're emotional creatures, right? If not, then we be robots. Okay, so for Christians to expect us not to have not to have emotions and not to act on emotions is pretty darn stupid, right? Pretty stupid. So, but anyways, and I know I've talked about this in other videos, but look at marriage vows. Marriage vows, people don't think about this. Like, use your brain about this. People don't think about what marriage vows are doing, okay? Marriage is a social construct. I know I've talked about it all the time. It's a social construct. It's not natural. Absolutely not. And I'll tell you why it's not natural. Because men, even when we love a woman, when men love a woman, we want to give them a lifestyle. We want to help ease their life, right? But that doesn't mean we want to give them our mind, body, and soul to only them. We just want to help them in their life if we love them. We care about them. We care about their life and we want them to do well and to make things easier, because we know that life's pretty hard for women. I mean, it really is. So when we love women, I mean, men in general, we want to provide a lifestyle for them and to ease their suffering. That's men giving women our love. Nowhere does any man ever say that I'm going to give you just my body, mind, and soul to just you. But that is what women expect of men. And that's where we're going wrong. That's where Christianity goes wrong too. And that's where what Christianity pushes. And that's part of the manipulation that women have pulled for many, 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 many years. And again, I'll explain. So naturally, men are not monogamous creatures. It doesn't matter if we find a woman that we love and that treats us well, we still hormonally want to stick our D in other women. If we're being honest, okay? Ladies, your husband, your boyfriend, doesn't matter if he loves you or not, he still wants to stick his D in other women. He desires to stick his D in other women. He wants to. Whether he tells you that or not, if he tells you he doesn't, he's lying to you. I promise you, hormonally, men want to stick our D in every woman we can. That is our nature. That's what our biology predicates us to do, right? Is to spread our seed. That doesn't mean find one woman and spread your seed just inside her. No, that means spread our seed far and wide, right? In as many women as we can. That's why men cheat so easily, because most guys can't get laid, right? They don't know how to purposefully attract women. They don't know, how to draw women to them, to make women want to screw them. Most men have no idea how to do that, right? In fact, most of you all watching this channel probably absolutely don't know how to do that. For sure. I know for a fact. I see it all the time out in the real world. I see it all the time. Bumbling freaking idiots of men just doting over women, giving them this and giving them that and telling them how awesome they are and doing this and blah, 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 blah. Yet they get zero Pussy. Zero. Because attraction is not a choice for women. And it doesn't matter what a woman says she wants, it's what she responds to. And men are starting to figure out that it's all about emotions. Yeah, you got to make women feel things, right? But that's, again, we're going to come back to Christianity and why marriage vows go against a woman's nature, but we'll get to that. I'm just saying a man's nature is to spread his seed far and wide in as many women as possible, right? So, marriage vows themselves are against masculinity. Marriage vows themselves harness men and tell men not to be men. Use your brain, guys. You can see this plain as day. It's plain as day. Once you see it, comprehend it, you can't unsee it. The whole Christian religion was designed and put out to everybody as good news. Yes, that was what it was meant to do in the beginning, but it was used for nefarious reasons to get men to stop procreating. Because if you can mind fuck people into not procreating, you don't have to kill them, and then they just die off anyways. I mean, look at the alphabet community. Look, we don't need to harm them in any way or possible. Just get them to think against nature, and they're gonna kill themselves off. They're gonna naturally, cull themselves out of the population because they're not breeding. They can't. They're the alphabet community. Naturally, they can't procreate, right? Like, and they're being mind fucked, and like they can't even see it because they're so stupid. Like, you see what I'm saying? So, anyways, again, Christianity was the first version of mind control, but it was against men, right? Like, the very, very smart people of this world tried to harm men by going directly towards the men. But that's what Christianity is. Christianity is anti-man. It's anti-masculine. Absolutely it is. Are there some good things in there? Absolutely. But it's sprinkled with feminist garbage trying to get you to cater to and pander to women. And that's part of the anti-masculine agenda, because when you cater to and pander to women, guess what? You don't have power as a man. You're giving all your power to the P, right? You're putting it all on a pedestal. And that's what Christianity does. It puts the P on a pedestal, right? It's against men. Like, when you tell women they're above you and put them in regard above yourself, you're telling them that they're more valuable than you are. Well, if they're more valuable than you are, they're not going to value you, gentlemen. You see how that works? Like, I know it sounds selfish, and it seems like that on the outside before you can really comprehend and understand this stuff. But as you get into the nitty-gritty, it's not selfishness, it's self-preservation, right? Because, and I've said this before in other videos, women, when their whole goal in dating is to get stuff from you, gentlemen. They're getting your time, they're getting your attention, they're getting your resources. They are extracting things from you, right? They are on the offensive. They are out to get something from you men, right? That's what they do, right? So you as men, you have to know that and understand that that's what they're trying to do. And now knowing that, you need to be on the defensive and make sure that they don't take from you and take from you and take from you until you're nothing but a shell of your former self. You're a shell of a man, and now she's lost attraction for you. You had no idea what the heck happened, and now you're divorced and are broken up with, and you're clueless. Well, here's your sign. You see what I'm saying? Women take and take and take and take and take if you let them. And most men let them because what? Why? Because most men don't know how to get laid. So they think that, oh, if I'm just nice to her, oh, if I just do this, if I just do this to her, if I just tell her how awesome she is, if I just do that and blah, 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 then I'll get laid. And it's like, yeah, you might once or twice, but in the long run, you're still going to get left, and you're still going to be you're still going to be left wondering and get taken for everything you got because you didn't understand this stuff, right? And you didn't understand that their whole goal, a woman's whole nature, is to manipulate men to go against ourselves. Absolutely it is. They don't love us for who we are. If they did, then they'd accept that we want to stick our D in a bunch of women and be okay with it. But they're not. They can't accept that. Their ego can't accept that. Their ego can't accept that, right? Like, men, I know that most of you have never explored your confidence enough to attract a bunch of women around you. I know that you haven't. Some of you have, sure. And some of you might have got lucky a few times, sure. And you might be figuring it out. But if you're a man that has ever explored your confidence and you know how to attract women, if you know how to get in a woman's pants, if you know how to make women feel good and make women desire you, you don't want a relationship. You don't need one because you have women. You're in abundance mentality. That's why women are so arrogant right now, because they have men coming at them from all angles all the time. You think they care about staying with one? No, that's why it's so easy to dump one and go with the other, because they're confident. They're overly confident. They're arrogant, right? But that's the way a man should be when he's confident. And men aren't like that right now because men aren't men. But when men are naturally being themselves, they are like that, right? And that's what I'm trying to say, is that when you as a man have your stuff figured out and you're confident and you know how attraction works and you can talk to women and you know how to make them feel things and engage their emotions and make them want to sleep with you, you are in control. You have the freaking power. You have the power. They don't have the power. They're down here, right? That's the dynamic you want. That's the sweet spot, right? But when Christianity tells you to put the P on a pedestal and that you need to sacrifice your own happiness and your life for the P, well, you've lost. Yeah, you have. You've lost. You should only sacrifice your time, attention, and life for a woman that's giving you children and that reciprocates what you're doing for her. But that still doesn't mean that you have to give your body to just her, because that's naturally not what men want to do. And women, you need to accept this about men. This is what this video is about. Men and women can't accept nature. You guys can't accept nature. And women, especially because of your egos, you can't accept that you're not the object of a man's attention. You know, your ego wants you to be the one and only for men, but guess what? You're never going to be. And until you get that through your thick heads, you're going to be miserable in this life, and men are going to cheat on you. You know, men are going to cheat because, well, we want to sleep with other women. It doesn't matter if we love you or not. We're still going to. I have personally never cheated on any woman that I've given my commitment to. I never have. I wanted to many, many, many times, and I could have many, many times with some really beautiful women. But I never did because I gave somebody my word, and I'm a man of my word. But nowadays, that was before I knew what was going on. That was before I understood all this stuff. And I thought I was being noble by going against my natural proclivities to spread my seed. I could have slept with a bunch of beautiful women. I could have had some awesome fun in my life. But no, I was looking out for another person's happiness. I was sacrificing my life and sacrificing my human experience that I'm on this earth to do for another person that doesn't appreciate it. You tell me that's noble? No, they don't give two craps about you. And that's why I'm trying to tell you religion and Christianity is a joke when it comes to relationships and dating and the opposite sex. It's a joke. Absolutely. Because they tell men and they expect men to put the P on a pedestal, which takes away power from men and puts it all in women's hands. And we all know that when women have the power in relationships, well, the attraction leaves almost inevitably, and then she's dumping you. So why would you give all the power and put it in her hands? Unless you're a freaking idiot and don't understand this stuff. Ding, ding, ding. See what I'm saying? Christianity goes against masculinity. It goes against manhood. It tells you to give your balls over to one woman. That's not nature. Why would God, okay, let's ask a question here. Why would God create men one way, create us to spread our seed? He created us this way, right? Why would he create us to spread our seed, go forth and multiply, but then tell us, oh no, don't do that? Does that make any sense? No, because it was man-made. It was man-written. That's why it doesn't make sense, because it was meant to mind screw you. And it's worked brilliantly for many, 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 many years, thousands of years, right? Well, it's been starting not to work anymore, like 60, 70 years ago. So the smart men had to figure out, all right, they're catching on to the Christianity thing. Like, what else can we can put masculinity under attack from the women's side of things. And then entered feminism. Right? Oh, let's get the women to go against their men, and we'll cause this rift in there, right? And it's worked brilliantly too. But they're both wrong and they're both right. They're both right in the fact, feminism is right in the fact that women need to be autonomous creatures and pay for themselves and support themselves, even if they have a relationship. An adult should be paying for an adult. Men should be paying for themselves. Women should be paying for themselves. If you have children, you need to split it. Period, point blank. There is no other way. That is the only fair way. And if you can't get behind that, well, you're dumb. Anyways, Christianity, it tells men to go against their own masculinity. And also, like I was telling you earlier, marriage vows, the vows in of themselves expect women to go against their femininity, right? So what do we know about women? We know women are emotional creatures, right? We all know that now, right? We should all know that by now. And that's okay. That's women for you, right? But marriage vows are just that, vows. When a woman takes a vow, she is giving her word that she's going to be loyal. But that's not how women operate. Women operate on their loyalty is only to their emotions. So you think that her telling you that she's going to be loyal to you, she's actually going to do that? Are you dumb? Serious question. Guys, think about this stuff, man. Think. Use your noggin, man. If feelings are the most important things, why do we have brains as men? Just saying. Women are emotional creatures. You cannot expect them to be loyal to you based on their word to you. This is what, dude, I've seen Christian marriages dissolve. I hate to say this. I know I've talked about it before. I'm a massage therapist, right? That's what I do for a living. I own my business. I work for myself. I make 6 figures a year. Only have to work 10, 20 hours a week. I have had preachers' wives come on to me and try to get me to screw them multiple times. And they are not bashful about it, and they are not shy about it, okay? If preachers' wives can cheat on their husbands, what chance do any of you all have? I'm just saying, women are only loyal to their emotions and how they feel, how men make them feel, right? So why are you expecting them to be loyal to their word? That's what marriage is. You go into the church in front of a bunch of people, and this you believe this woman when she tells you that she's committing herself to only you, and she's going to be loyal to only you and to her word to you. But that's not how they operate naturally. That's why it's so easy for them to fall out of that. And similarly, women, men aren't monogamous by nature. Like I was just saying earlier, we don't want to stick our D in a bunch of women. So why do you expect men to be loyal to you? The stupidity is so real on both sides. Men and women can't understand these things. Why is it so hard to understand nature? Why is it so hard to accept nature? I know why it's so hard, because your mind has been pre-programmed already. Your entire life, you have allowed your mind to believe that men and women are traditional, or either go by Christianity or you can do anything you want. But again, that's the extreme of everything. There is a balance to it all. And you have to understand nature. You have to understand men's nature, and you have to understand women's nature. Women's nature is not to women's nature is to find a guy she can extract resources from that makes her feel a certain way and continuously makes her feel a certain way until she's ready to, until he doesn't. Then she's on to the next one. That's women. That's what they do. You can't expect them to be anything else. You know, you can't expect a shark to be a dog, you know? Like, it doesn't work like that. Similarly, ladies, you can't expect a dog to be a cat, right? Men want to sleep with other women. We're going to sleep with other women besides you. You are not our one and only in the universe. Not even your husbands. I guarantee it. He's looking at porn. He's looking at other women. He is looking behind your back at other women because he has hormones. It's not because we're all horrible people. It's because we're horny because of hormones. That is our body's way of trying to procreate, right? Just as you ladies have a period every month. You can't help that. That's your hormones, right? Your uterine walls are shedding, right? And you're bleeding profusely. And your hormones are fucking going crazy, right? That's nature for women, right? That's your nature. Well, a man's version of that is he's horny all the time. And he wants to stick his D in everybody. You can't stop it. And then to demonize it is manipulative in and of itself. Imagine if men demonized women for having periods. Oh my gosh, she's got a period. What a horrible person. That's manipulative behavior. Do you see? Do you understand? I know this is a hard conversation, but dude, y'all got to get a freaking clue, man. The stupidity that I see of so many people in this world is just unfathomable. Like, it blows my mind. Like, I love people, but I can't stand their stupidity and their not knowing things. They just don't know. Y'all don't know. So I'm not trying to say everybody's stupid, but everybody's stupid. Yeah, absolutely. Because people aren't thinking about these things. People are feeling all the time. And again, you're way at one extreme to the other. There's a balance right there in the middle there. And what I'm talking about is the balance. It's nature. But nobody wants to go along with nature. Everybody thinks and is arrogant enough to think that, well, if this person loved me, she'll do this or he'll do this. No. If you loved them, you'd allow them to be who they are. Naturally. You know? I don't sit here and shame women for being manipulative. Why? Because that's manipulative on my part. I don't need to do that. I just accept them for how they are and navigate them accordingly. I expect them all to be manipulative. And when they are, I laugh at it in their face as they're trying to do it, and I call them out on it and laugh at them, and they always admit it every single time. Oh, all right, you know. And I'm like, yeah, you ain't gonna do that because I'm not putting up with that shit. And then they cut it out right then. But most men don't know how to do that. Most men are clueless freaking idiots and get manipulated in real time all the time. You know? And I've talked about it on this channel before. Like, a very, very simple way for a woman to manipulate you is using your emotions against you or her emotions against you. Usually her emotions against you. In the form of, they'll say things like, I can't believe you'd make me feel that way. Yeah. Your feelings are your freaking problem, lady. You're an autonomous adult, right? It's not men's job to cater to your emotions. Narcissistic people expect others to tiptoe and walk around eggshells around them. I can't believe you make me feel like that. Tiptoe around me. I can't believe you make me feel like that. That is manipulation. That's selfishness. No. But men can't understand that. Men go, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make you feel that way. Oh, yeah. And they're manipulated just like that. And in a split second, that woman's attraction for him it plummeted. And he had no idea what happened. This is how quickly women can lose attraction for you because you're so easily manipulated. Because men are freaking dumbasses when it comes to this stuff. It is crazy. I know I've talked about it on this channel before, but I'm going to talk about it again. Here, I'm going to tell you a story. One of my buddies owns a restaurant. All right, I used to work for him for a little while, just part-time, just to help him out. And he was messing with, he messed with our money somehow or something. I can't remember the full context of it, but I was mad at him about it. And I called him up one day. I was like, hey, we need to have a conversation. And he's like, all right, well, you up at the restaurant? I was like, yeah. And he's like, all right, I'll be up there in a minute. I was like, all right, cool. I'll see you when you get here. So he comes up there. He knew I was mad. He was at home with his wife. He 5 minutes down the road, he knew I was pissed off because I told him we needed to talk. He gets in his truck and comes down to the restaurant. Well, he brings his wife with him, right? Well, he knew I was mad. Why'd you bring your dang wife with you, right? So she already knew I was mad, is my point in saying that. All right? She gets there. They get there, and I'm like, hey, buddy, let's go around the corner and let's have a conversation, you know? So I turn around, and I'm walking, and then I look back, and she's following both of us. And I'm like, I look at him and I wait, and he didn't say anything to her. So I looked at her and I said, hey, I was like, you can go inside and have a seat. We'll be in a minute. You know, nothing, just like that in that tone of voice. Hey, you can go inside and have a seat. We'll be in a minute. I got to talk to him. She looked at him to get approval from him. Then he's like, yeah, you know, we'll be in a minute. And then we proceeded around the corner to have our chat. And I laid into him about being mad at, you know, messing with the money and all that stuff. Right? Well, the conversation and the argument went indoors. We moved the conversation and the argument indoors at some point. And now everybody in the restaurant, well, the restaurant was closed at this point, but all of our coworkers and everybody that worked there was still there. We were all cleaning up, breaking down everything, you know, whatever. And me and my buddy, we're just going at it. Like, I got balls, man. Like, you ain't gonna mess with my money. Like, that's my livelihood. Do you like your money being messed with? Absolutely not. I don't either. So I'm gonna go let somebody know about it. Like, you know? So I did. I'm just going off on my buddy, whatever. And at some point, his wife had meandered her way over and had started butting into the conversation and saying, oh yeah, that's not fair, and this, that, and the other. And I was like, yeah, it's not. And she's like, yeah, well, I don't think it's fair that there's misogynists in the world. And I looked at her dead in the face and I said, lady, I don't think it's fair that there's abusive and manipulative women in the world either, but you don't want to have that conversation with me now, do you? Absolutely not. And she's like, oh, and scoffed just like that. Oh, well, I don't much care for how you spoke to me earlier when we got here. Again, using my emotions against me, trying to guilt me. That's manipulation. In real time, this is happening. And I knew it. I knew what she was trying to do in real time. She knew that I was mad when she even got there. So would you even fault me for talking to you like that? Like, I wouldn't, if I knew I was walking into somebody mad, I wouldn't even try to butt into the conversation personally. You know, if I knew that my buddy and his wife were pissed off at each other and were having an argument, you think it would be appropriate for me to go and butt into their conversation and start gaslighting her that it's her fault that for making me feel a certain way when they're having a pissed off conversation? Absolutely not. It's manipulative, right? Same thing. It's none of her business what the money is about because she's not my boss, right? So why did she interject in the conversation, right? So again, I knew what she was trying to do. She was trying to play victim in a problem she created. She put herself in that situation and created that problem of me going off on her. And then she tried to make it my fault and that she was the victim in it. That's manipulation. That is pure manipulation. And I knew exactly what it was. She's like, I don't much care for how you spoke to me when we got here. And he was standing right next to me. My buddy was standing right next to me. And I looked at her dead in the face. I leaned in and I said, I don't give a flying how you feel. You're not signing my paychecks. You don't pay my bills. You know, you're not sucking me and yanking me. So why would I give a crap about how you feel? You know? She's like, well, I'll tell you who I am. I'm like, no, you won't, because I'm leaving. I'm getting out of here. And I walked straight out the door and left. I was like, see y'all, I don't need any of this. You know, my friend never fired me for that, for cussing his wife out in front of everybody. Everybody around us was going. Because they couldn't believe how I was calling her out in real time. But she deserved every second of it. You see what I'm saying? Most men do not know how to do that and don't have the balls to do that. Most men today, a lot of y'all watching this, and I'm not trying to be a jerk, but y'all need to find your balls, okay? You need to stop letting women pushing y'all around, all right? You need to stop putting up with their bullshit, because that's why they're so arrogant and haughty nowadays, is because men keep putting up with their bullshit, right? You keep putting up with their dumb fuckery in order to get puss. Like, it's stupid. You know what I mean? Like, you're so desperate to get laid that you'll put up with women's bad behavior in order to just get a taste of it. Like, it's sickening. It's weak. Men are weak, okay? You need to get some balls to you, all right? You got to figure this stuff out. You got to figure out that marriage is even trying to play you. Marriage vows manipulate men to go against their nature, right? They do. Yes, should men take care of the women they love? Absolutely, but that doesn't mean you have to sacrifice your happiness and sacrifice giving up getting laid by other women for it. Why would you agree to that? That's self-castration. You've been manipulated to go against your own nature as men. Point blank, period. You can deny that all you want, but think about it. Think about it. All right? It doesn't matter if you find a woman you love or not. There's women I love, but I still want to stick my D in other people. Naturally. That's why we're looking all the time. That's when you're out with your woman. You still see a woman you still see it. You're still attracted. Your D still gets hard because it's hormones. It's hormonal. It just is what it is. Why are you trying to suppress your hormones as a man? Because women told you to. See, that's the manipulation that they do. They are on the offensive, trying to get you to go against yourself for their gain. That's what they do. So you as men need to understand what they're trying to do and not let them do it. It really is that simple. I don't dislike women. I don't hate women at all. I love them. I think they're awesome. But I love myself more. And I'm not going to let a woman push me around and she ain't going to dictate my life. Absolutely not. You're not going to tell me what I can or can't do. You're not going to tell me what I can or can't spend my money on. You're not going to tell me where or who, where I can go or can't go. You're not going to tell me who I can sleep with or can't sleep with. That's what I'm saying. I'm a freaking man. I have your best interest at heart, ladies. But I also have my best interest at heart too. Okay? Your best interest isn't feeling confident because I'm not sleeping with other women, because in that confidence, you're going to get the balls to break up with me. Why would I do that? Why would I hand you my power? You see what I'm saying? That's what men don't understand about this stuff. You're handing women your balls by getting married. You're handing women your balls by agreeing to self-castration and monogamy. You're handing women your balls, and you're easily manipulated and going against your natural proclivities as a man by agreeing to that stuff. Yes, you are. And ladies, you are being manipulative if you're not allowing men to be men naturally. Point blank, period. You don't understand this stuff. Men and women don't understand this about nature and about the opposite gender. Y'all don't understand. Hopefully this video has helped. All right? I'm just saying, it's nature. You can go against nature all you want, but that's why this whole life is so miserable right now, because we've all been going against nature. I go along with nature. Nature's perfect. Nature's awesome. I love you guys. I hope y'all had a great weekend. And I hope y'all are having a great 2026. Apologize that it's been so long since I posted a video. Tell me how much you hated this one or you liked it or whatever it was. I know I'm going to get some flack in the comments. There's always haters in here. Haters are really just fans in denial. So thank you for my haters. Thank you for my lovers. Thank you for you ladies. Thank you for you gentlemen. All of you, I appreciate all of you. I love all of you. I want everybody to be happy and live your best lives. And you can't be happy and live your best lives if you don't understand how nature works and you're actively trying to go against it, or you're actively trying to manipulate the other gender to go against their nature, which isn't right either. So men, you need to understand your nature, and you need to understand women's nature, and women, you need to understand your nature and men's nature, and stop trying to manipulate each other. Stop trying to do that. All right? It's just that simple. So anyways, hope y'all had a good weekend. I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.